But gold is signaling that. And gold usually will lead. So you may see, that $2,000 barrier broken. Gold is at an all-time high in many, many, many currencies. It's just that everybody seems to measure gold in terms of US dollars. And in that case, it hasn't hit any high and sustained it. I'm going to guess 6 months, a year, you'll see the...
Welcome to David Morgan's insightful exploration of the intricate world of gold, silver, and the economy. In this video, we'll unravel the fascinating connections between precious metals and financial stability. Join us as we navigate through the realm of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and beyond, uncovering the layers that shape our monetary systems. So, stay connected till the end of this informative video.
And I've maintained that the reason that central banks are buying so much gold, they set a record last year, most gold buying in, I think, 5 decades. This year they're on track to do the same. And the reason is gold to the bankers are the money of last resort. In other words, if everything else fails, you go back to a gold or pseudo gold standard. It doesn't have to be a gold coin standard with 100% banking. It could be, as Jim Rickards has said many times, 40% or whatever, but at least it's to specie, to gold that's been recognized as money for 5,000 years. So I think that's kind of a backup plan for a lot of the central banks. And as far as the Dutch central bank is concerned, Jan sees it differently, and he could be right. I pointed out in that previous interview that when, and having lived through it, and you have to be about my age to have lived through it. I mean, I became a sound money advocate like age 11 or 12. But when we saw this rapid inflation taking place last time in the United States, gold took off. I had some contracts on it, $300 gold for December of 1979. I rolled them over into January, and in that month to the next month, it went from 300 to 850. So it rapidly went up, and this is when Volcker stepped in. And the point being is, if you took the M1 money supply versus the amount of gold purportedly in Fort Knox, you had a full 100% gold coin cover at $400 gold, and yet gold went to 850. So we had double what we needed in gold reserves to go right back to the Bretton Woods Agreement. But no one wanted to do that. Being is, as he said in the article, if gold accelerated to a high enough price, you could go back to a gold standard, and then you'd have to lock it in, and that's the problem. Because every time you go on a gold standard, the human element comes into it, and they start printing more receipts than there are gold to back it up. That's why the Bretton Woods system failed. There's enough gold. It's not, that's the wrong question, really. There's always enough gold. It's just the maintenance of keeping the gold standards. Gold is like a policeman on a currency. So if you put out currency in digits on your phone and it's a cashless system, as long as there's truth in the system and the amount of gold is equal to the amount of digits, you have a fair, equal, and one of the best systems that we've seen in history. The problem is, again, the human element, where somebody cheats and wants to get an advantage and puts out more digits than there is gold to back it up. Now you either have to adjust the price of gold or digits to gold ratio, or you are going to, mess up the system. And this was what happens. It's been from the time of the early days when, there really weren't banks. There were just merchants that held gold in reserve and put out these receipts, and then saw that only 10% of the people came back to get their gold. So I said, aha, I can enrich myself by printing up more receipts than there is gold. And then people catch on, there's a bank run. And they go to the gold window and they say, here's my receipts, give me my gold. And if you printed up twice as many receipts as gold that exists, now the fraud is discovered, and everyone says the gold standard doesn't work. No, gold is inert. It's an element out of the ground. It has nothing to do with anything other than, as I said, a policeman on the currency. But it's the human element that gets involved that can destroy a really sound money system. We are going into a new dynamic, as we talked about. The resets ahead of us, when and where exactly, no one knows. But gold is signaling that. And gold usually will lead. So you may see, that $2,000 barrier broken, and then we start to move up to 21, 22. You got to remember, and I know you know this, I'm saying it for the audience, that gold is at an all-time high in many, many, many currencies. It's just that everybody seems to measure gold in terms of US dollars. And in that case, it hasn't hit a new high and sustained it. But it will. I think once you see that take place, again, usually gold leads, meaning that not long thereafter, I'm going to guess 6 months, a year, you'll see the ultimate proposal of the new CBDC or something like that come to the fore. And, there'll be a huge sales pitch on why it's so good for you and no one can steal your money and you never have to worry anymore. Your real ID system is going to prevent anybody from hurting you and you have security like you've never had, and on it'll go. But of course, it's really a prison system. Nobody wants to be a prophet of doom, but in the unlikely event of an all-out financial collapse, silver will be the money of last resort. Gold will have too high a unit value to do everyday trading, but silver will be used as money again, and therefore everybody should have some silver coins on hand. That's basically the first rule, and it sounds very bizarre, but it's happened in history over and over, and we think, well, in the modern world with technology could be our doom rather than our savior. I mean, as you keep saying, look at what happened to the truckers with Trudeau. I mean, it didn't matter if you were on the CBDC or not. You still got your bank account shut down if you were doing a peaceful protest against something where the people have a right to voice their opinion, and yet they close their bank accounts. I don't even know how to respond. I'm not a Trumpster. I'm really not. But, I look for principles and men and women of principles. And, the foundation for our way of government on the foundation was pretty easy to understand. And we've gotten so far away from that, we're really in this distorted system now that's basically corrupt from top to bottom. And I think anyone that could come in and undo some of that corruption and put it on a different path is worthy of listening to. I don't see him as favoring one group over the other, although perhaps that's true. I mean, we could get into the Zionist argument. I'm not going to go there. But what I can say is that someone that steps up and is willing to speak truth to the elite power behind the scenes. Remember when Kennedy gave his speech, he talked about, secret societies and all this stuff. And most people don't know, and it's been in the publications for years, but most people don't study this stuff. Of, the men that really run Washington are unknowns. They're behind the scenes. They're not your political class that's put out in front of the camera. There's people behind them that are pulling the puppet strings. So is Trump one of them or not? I really can't determine that, but I do know he certainly stirred up the pot enough for the mainstream to really be against him. And whether all that or not is a show, I'm not certain. What I do know is that he has held more to principles that we were founded on than any president in my lifetime. And for that, even though I didn't vote for him, and I didn't vote for the opponent either, I didn't vote because I don't like to encourage the political class. But regardless, I think that's an unfair characterization. I really do. It's attacking the man instead of the principles. Let's look at what he did, not at what he said, and judge it from there.
Appreciate your presence in David Morgan's insightful journey, exploring the intricate world of gold, silver, and its impact on the economy. Throughout this video, we've unwrapped compelling connections between precious metals and financial stability. Your commitment ensures a comprehensive understanding of this informative experience. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. We appreciate your help.